And now for the 2016 Best Animated Film Oscar nominees and winners. And the nominees were Zootopia, Kubo and the Two Strings, Moana, My Life as a Courgette, or Zucchini, and The Red Turtle. And the winner was Zootopia. Yeah, I'm pretty much going to agree with on this one. I mean, Zootopia was a film that really took my breath away as far as like a film that was really dealing with some serious complex issues as far as I guess racism and classism and all kinds of things, and just how society just continues to kind of be like the society that it is. This is a film which has predators and prey, and it could have easily made the predators the complete villains in this thing, but instead they decided to go with a more complex route that I really appreciate. I don't know if the sequel will fare, and honestly, I might just wait for that to come on Disney Plus before I watch that in the theater, unless I hear that it's really good. I don't see how they could top this. This is why you don't really make a good first one. Okay, honestly, as far as films I've rewatched the most, I would say Moana, I would say definitely deserved the nomination. I love this movie. I didn't think I was going to like this movie, but I really, after I watched it the first time, I couldn't stop watching it after that, and that shows just how much I really love this film. I love its message, I love its visuals, and yeah, there's a lot of good stuff in this thing. So, the songs are also good too. Now, also with Kubo and the Two Strings, I did see that in the theater. It's another Leica film, and I usually am very complimentary of whatever Leica does, and I think this deserves the respect and at least the Oscar nomination. It's definitely trying to do something very different, which I really appreciate. This film feels a lot more grown up than, say, something that Disney would do, and for that, I really appreciate that. It's a good meta-commentary on storytelling altogether. Perfect film. You should see it if you haven't seen it. Or at least perfect stop-motion film. Actually, it's not quite perfect, but it is good enough to see, and it deserves the nomination, which I've said before. Okay, now My Life as a Courgette, which I know better as My Life as a Zucchini, I actually did see. It's a film about orphans. It's done in stop-motion, I believe. It really deals with some harsh issues of, I believe, domestic violence and broken homes, and I was surprised to see there's a really great moment in this film when like an adult starts crying after they have adopted an orphan, which I think it's played by Nick Offerman, which, Nick Offerman, I mean, usually he tends to class up pretty much anything he's in. This is a good film. You should see it if you haven't. And I think this might be the first time I saw all 5 of these things. Okay, maybe I'm wrong, but anyway, so The Red Turtle, I did see. It's quite interesting. It's one of those films in which, like, it's one of those films where something happens and then you kind of realize, like, oh, this is like a cyclical thing, isn't it? And I might be spoiling the film for that, but I think I'll leave it up to you as to decide what this is. Is it worth an Oscar nomination? I'd say yeah. Ditto My Life as a Courgette and stuff like that. Wow, I believe actually all 5 of these. This is the first time I've actually been in sync on this. Now, that being said, are there other films that could have been nominated? Sure. I notice, now this is the issue when seeing films from Asia or anime type films. They tend to show up at the Oscars like 1 year after they've actually been done. This is the same with Your Name. This was a good film, and I remember really liking this film when it first came out, or when I first watched it. I kept seeing a lot of people try and tear this film apart as far as its plot holes, and it is riddled with them. And I have to admit, okay, I'm not saying that's why they passed on it, but dude, I mean, come on. So, Illumination did not have a good year with the Oscars, because they got passed as far as Sing and The Secret Life of Pets, both of which came out this year. I'm sure they made their money. They're not exactly classics, but they have sequels, which I've already discussed on other things, so yeah, I think those got passed up for Oscars too. I could be wrong. I can't really remember, honestly. And other two franchises started this year. The Trolls movie started, and I actually liked that film, but I didn't really think it was Oscar worthy. It's one of those films that is definitely made for very young audiences, and for that, it just kind of felt like, eh. Ditto with the Angry Birds movie. I did watch that. At least it ends with something that's very similar to the game. I mean, they are launching themselves at pigs. Not a lot of video game movies do that. They tend to go their own direction. But hey, yeah, I took that from some other commentator or something like that. Probably not worth a nomination, though. And Sausage Party? Oh, man, yeah, I guess. As much as I tried to getting into the animated series they made off of this, and it was terrible. I just didn't bother. But I actually really like what this film is trying to do, and I think it's obviously a very raunchy parody of CG animated films. That's honestly, I think that alone makes it worth at least seeing, but probably not worthy of an Oscar. But at least they tried something different. Oh yeah. Speaking of something different, there was Storks that came out that year, and yeah, I don't know why that didn't really work and stuff. And then, of course, no one is surprised by Norm of the North, which most people consider to be one of the worst animated films of that year. And I almost forgot about Ratchet and Clank. Remember this film? Yeah, no. Video game type films. I mean, we already had the Angry Birds one this year, but technically it's not a video game. But yeah, you get what I'm saying. It's like, but here's the thing that really surprises me. Finding Dory did not get a nomination, and I think it deserved one. But I know that they can only have, like, I don't know, 5 movies in this, probably, because that seems to be the max every time I look. I was surprised that usually the Pixar film gets at least a nomination, but nothing? Really? I'm just shocked. Anyway, so I don't know, that's just kind of weird. So, oh yeah, also Kung Fu Panda 3 came out this year, and I'm not surprised that it didn't get a nomination. And I have seen it, and I've seen it again, but it's not one that... It's like How to Train Your Dragon 3, which I already discussed. It's like at some point in time, all the glory of that thing just kind of tapered off there. I didn't really think there was anything more they can do. In fact, they made a 4th one of that, kind of like, eh. Okay. Alright, join us next time where we're going to discuss the 2015 Best Animated Films, Oscars, nominees, and so forth.